Star Wars.
Babe, what are you doing?
Daddy, you want to see something?
I know what's behind there. It's my computer. I put it there years ago. Okay, we're streaming. I'm recording, but Diecast, if you can record on your end just to get the audio, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. What should I use to record? Because this is my new computer and I don't have anything on it yet.
Do you not have MP3 Skype recorder installed?
I'll download it real quick.
Okay. If you don't have it, don't worry about it. Chris, can you record? As a back?
See. If I remember how to do it, sure.
Okay, I was boring her.
Well, that works. Boring her, I mean, not the recording. I'm still waiting for a result on that.
Kids get bored
Okay,
very
that's
easy.
not the right audio device. Let's see.
Well, Matt, if those figures are still there, do you want me to get them when I go back into town again?
No, hold off on that.
Oh, there we go.
The only thing I really need out of that wave is Winter Soldier, and I can wait for him to show up somewhere.
No, I think that was
Thanks,
one of
though.
them. But Bucky, I think that was one of them. Bucky, unless there's two kinds of Winter Soldiers in that wave.
No.
Like, okay, yeah, I think one of them was. I'll check Friday anyway, just to have something to do.
Hi, puppy.
Hey, Don. Thinking about Friday. You remember when we were at TGI Friday together and Triplet disappeared for like 45 minutes? Or is that not you? Maybe even Noah. Am I confusing you for Noah?
I don't. Yeah, I think so because I don't remember going with you to a TGI Fridays.
I guess it was Noah. Never mind. I guess it must have been on the way to BotCon 2015 or 2016, wherever your Triplet went. This is just. Hopefully he's watching, but we went to TGI Friday on the way, and he disappeared. He went to the bathroom and was there for 45 minutes. 45 minutes. So hopefully he had a good time, but I doubt it. Okay, this is not the pre-show content that I wanted to.
Too late.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I got an email saying my hot link from the Siege Netflix series has been bumped back to June.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about that.
Yeah. But haven't they been found in stores?
In Canada?
Yeah.
We'll talk about it.
Okay, it was Canada.
The,
okay. I saw
We only
a lot
have
of
like
about
3
this.
news items. We'll talk about
Pulse
it.
is also sending out. Pulse is also sending out updates on Nautilator and what Sea-Wing.
Yeah.
Kraken and
Say-
Lobclaw, yeah.
Saying they're going to be billed soon,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But still nothing like on Burning Convoy or anything.
Well, I doubt it's all coming in one box together
I know,
to
but
them.
yeah. Okay.
By box, I mean shipping container, which is, if you think about just a bigger, sturdier box.
What about that? Do you guys care about that BotCon 1998 BotCon Japan set that popped up? That's really crazy.
Yeah, that's
crazy, but is there anything to actually talk about since there's no information except that it's
happening? Yeah,
and it's very pricey.
Yeah, it's not as pricey as buying the toys outright.
Yeah.
It's
it's $450 for the set of 2, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of like $700 or $600 or whatever the other.
Yeah,
goes
I mean, for the context of what it is, that's a bargain.
Yeah, it's
even
just,
without any packaging.
If I could, if I could just get Barbarian, I'd be happy. But
you already have Double Punch.
Huh?
You already have Double Punch.
No, I don't want. I don't like that Scorponok mold that much.
Oh.
Well.
Besides,
if I had $250 to play with for such a thing, Don, I would take the Double Punch off of you.
Yeah,
but
that's
not in the cards right now.
I think Scotty P on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was looking for someone to get the Double Punch because he just wanted the Barbarian. And I'll be honest, I've got Sandstorm. I've got BotCon Sandstorm, and I think that's a much better deco.
I don't even own that mold.
I'm looking at him right now, and he's still a good-looking figure for that. That's not my favorite mold, but that Sandstorm was really a good-looking.
Okay, I'm gone. Have fun. Thank you, guys.
Bye, Brian.
Okay, no problem, bro.
I mean, in the context of early Beast Wars, the Scorponok mold is not bad at all.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
it's just...
It doesn't age well because the cyber beam mechanism tends to get really finicky after not very long.
Yeah. I mean, it's, if it was me, 15 years ago, I probably would have jumped over that set because it was a BotCon set I didn't have and rare, and it's like,
But now he has a girlfriend.
Girlfriend. I've never owned a Polar Claw.
Really?
Yeah.
It's his bat launching paw kind of has the same problem as the bee launching Scorponok.
Yeah, I would have assumed that was the case.
Yeah, it's just it's a little batty sometimes.
Oh, Don.
But I like Polar Claw. It's not. I wouldn't mind seeing a new version of that, but I guess that's a really deep cut. Iceberg is a good figure from the mutants.
Yeah.
Yeah, Iceberg is Iceberg is probably one of the best mutants. I don't think the
mutant Soundwave would be better probably if it didn't disintegrate when you looked at it.
Yeah.
I actually have two of them, so that I don't ever have to transform one.
I think my favorite though of the bunch is Poison Bite.
Poison Bite's interesting, although, like from just a pure engineering standpoint, I think Razor Claw. I think it's Razor Claw.
Yeah.
I think that does the most interesting thing because both of its modes are very solid and look more complete, I guess, than any other two toys' individual modes.
I still regret that the mutants got kind of just wrote off from the Collectors Club comic. They just sort of like, here's this great epic story, and half of the characters just get nuked, and it's just kind of.
Well, these things happen when stuff's going on behind the scenes.
Yeah, but I honestly believe the mutants don't get enough appreciation for what I know they were Animorphs toys, but I still think they achieved a lot more than what people think they were. Well, think they did.
Well, I think the only reason people really were down on the Animorphs toys was just because, like, the quote unquote human modes were so abstract, let's say. Whereas if they'd been robots doing the exact same thing, nobody would have thought twice about it.
Yeah. I think someone pointed out that they were really upset that Rachel was a young lady that turned into a male lion. And it was like, it's a fictional story about people turning into animals. Who cares?
Was there any media to go along with Animorphs?
The books.
And a TV show?
Yeah.
That's what I was asking, because
right.
I'm like, I don't remember them at all.
Was it Nick that had the TV show?
It could have been, I don't remember. Like, I was only peripherally aware of Animorphs at that time.
I had the dinosaur. It was weird.
Trirex, I think.
Yeah, it was weird, but it was also kind of cool too. So I sold it years ago.
It was interesting looking.
Yeah, I mean, there was some interesting engineering in that dinosaur.
I want to say one year somebody photoshopped that up for an April Fool's as Beastars Reflector.
I don't remember that. That kind of would have been interesting. I would have loved to see what the dinosaur would look like, purple and green and silver dinosaur.
Well, I mean, you can imagine it wouldn't have looked all that different from Beastars Megatron.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, of course I'm right, Don. Do you know who you're talking to?
Yes. One of the worst April Fool's jokes I've seen on Twitter yesterday was someone did a fake Blake 7 on Blu-ray, and I'm thinking, oh God, it's like I would love to. I can imagine what Fort Max would be saying, trying to something of that level of 70s sci-fi on Blu-ray.
Well, I guess it depends whether, Blake 7 was done on film or videotape. If it was done on videotape, it's a hopeless project.
Yeah.
Don, someone in the chat is saying, welcome to the Massey Apocalypse. And I'm just thinking in my head that it's good for you that you work at an essential business, because if not, you'd be home a lot more and your cat would probably kill you.
Well, it's like a while ago when I got home, I had to. I have to keep a check on Massey's ears because sometimes he'll get that crud in his ears.
Yeah,
he does not like it when I have to make a kitty cat burrito in a towel and try to look in his ears. He does not like that.
Does Massey ever hiss?
No, but
he spit.
No, but he will. He will get this kind of deep inner growl, and then he'll swat at me. It's just. But I have to take a towel and then wrap him up like a little kitty cat burrito, and then I have to hold his head and peek in his ears and look down in his ears, and then do it on the other side, and he doesn't like that.
I was just wondering because my cat, which obviously is new, will hiss at the dog every once in a while, like if the dog scares her. But it's this funny hiss, you can barely hear any noise coming out. It's like, what was that?
No, he'll do this kind of sound when he gets really, really upset. But I mean, he doesn't understand that I have to check his ears and make sure his ears don't have a bunch of gunk in it. I have to, other day, I thought I couldn't tell if he had a cavity or it was just some food, so I had to take a wet paper towel and I had to hold his head and trying to clean his teeth a little bit to see if it was a cavity or if it was a. He did not like that.
That sounds bad.
Yeah, and you wonder why that cat is so hostile toward you.
Well, I mean, the problem is if I take him in for a dental cleaning, he's got to be sedated, and it's like $125 or $150 to get a dental cleaning for the cat. And it's
That's not bad. Dogs are way more expensive.
I know, but it's just, I just don't. When I was younger, we had a cat that we kept at our vet when we were on vacation, and Bo was not like Massey. Bo was a good cat. He did not hate. He loved people. He loved being petted. But they must have sedated him while we were gone because he was just like a stoner for like a week after we got him. He'd walk and he would kind of just sort of wobble back and forth. I mean, he got better, but that's why I don't really want to have Massey sedated for anything.
Yeah, I got lucky. This cat is super friendly with people. She's never hissed at me or tried to scratch me or anything. The only thing she does is every once in a while when she's laying in your lap, if you're petting her, she'll flex her claws and dig into you a little bit. But then
but that's not an aggressive or hostile.
No.
That's just a cat.
Yeah, they just keep flexing their nails out.
That's literally infantile behavior. They don't know that they're scratching you while they're doing it.
Yeah, I think she doesn't know. And she's only about a year from what we know, either 9 months to a year. So,
best we can figure, Massey's probably right around 10.
Yes, and he'll probably be laying around terrorizing you for another 15 years. That just seems like the kind of cat he is.
Yeah.
He will linger well past the typical average lifespan for a cat just to...
What's the average?
Evil never dies.
15, 17 years on a good cat.
Okay. Because I know dogs, it depends on the breed and the size.
Yeah, but cats, so many cats are so physically similar. With the dogs, when you get a really big breed, you're lucky to get 10 years out of them, but small dogs can go sometimes, 17, 20 years.
Yeah.
If like it's not a breed that has like serious genetic problems being bred.
Yeah, my parents' Chihuahua lived to like 19.
Yeah, that's very very normal. That's very much to be expected. Whereas like a pug is still a relatively small breed, but they've got so many like endemic problems. 10, 12 years maybe. You get older pugs, of course, ones that have been, they've got a better breeding line or, better veterinary care. If you're willing to spend enough money on your pet, you can get some extra years out of them usually, but not everybody's able to do that.
Plus also is it, quality versus quantity too.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, there are a few cat breeds that have some problems. But for the most part, cats, you'll get a pretty long lifespan out of just in general. You can't tell my family has bred both cat and dogs at various points throughout the years, can you?
I'm just so not a cat person, or not, never had a cat before, so this whole cat thing is like brand new to me.
Yeah, I'm pretty cool with cats or dogs.
Yeah, it's really weird. When I was in high school, one of my good friends in high school was actually his parents bred cats, and he was actually a cat show. He was a professional cat show judge. He gave us, he actually had a Siamese that was gorgeous Siamese cat. But all Siamese seemed to have this attitude, and he just was way too aggressive to the other cats. And we didn't have any other cats at the time, so he offered me the cat just because he couldn't stay there. He was just too territorial and too aggressive around the other cats. And we called him BC for Big Cat. Gorgeous Siamese. One morning, Mom cooked country ham for breakfast, and we put what was left on top of the fridge wrapped up in tinfoil. Well, BC got on top of the fridge while we were out that evening, because on Sundays when I was young, Dad would take us to the local national forest, and we would drive through looking for deer, and we'd stop and get a Coke and a pack of nabs or something at this little country store.
A pack of what?
Pack of nabs.
Nabs. Thank you, Rob. I'm glad you. Lance crackers, but down here they're called like nabs. At a convenience store, they had a 500-pound pig, and he got into the country ham, and we came back, and he basically camped outside his water dish for like 3 days because he got in the country ham.
But he didn't die.
Oh no, he just drank a lot of water.
I thought you were going to say ate like the tinfoil or something.
Oh no! BC was smart. Nah, he ripped open the tinfoil and got to the ham itself and ate probably about the equivalent of a slice or so. And country ham, if you're not familiar with it, well, I know a lot of people don't come this far south for country ham, but it can be very salty. It can be, the way it's cured, it can be very salty.
As salt cured meats tend to be.
Yes.
Yes. So
I wasn't going to ask. I know a difference. I didn't know what the difference between a regular ham and a country ham, honestly. But
well, it's Rodimus Supreme. You do not know who Cat Noir is or Chat Noir. I'm sorry, Rod. It's just.
What about Shatner?
No.
I didn't know either. So.
Yeah. No, it's just no. We've had a lot of. We had a pet goat. I mentioned him before. He was the one that Dad got to eat the crap grass in the gully, and he would eat all the bark off the trees.
That's a smart thing to do.
No, yeah, but he didn't. He ate the bark off the trees and killed the trees. He didn't eat the stuff he was supposed to eat.
Well, you didn't specify.
Yeah.
Look, you can leave a goat the grass, but you can't make him eat.
Yeah. We walked out one day and there was a horse in our yard. He had gotten loose from one of the neighbors and he was just in our yard grazing. And I must have been 12 or 13 and I walked out and there's a horse in the yard. Just
as you do, yeah.
As you would. And there was one time we went down. Brian probably knows it. There's a little area down not far from where I grew up called Farmer, North Carolina, where there's a lot of greenhouses in that area. And we went down to pick up some stuff from one of the greenhouses, do some landscaping, and there was a cow walking down the road. He got out of his enclosure. He's just trotting down the middle of the road, just as you will, just like, it's a nice day, I'm going for a walk, and he's just hoofing it down the middle of the road.
Are you sure it was a he?
Well, I don't know.
Probably a girl if it was cow.
Yeah. Well, then, Ness, you did not have good country ham. I'm going to tell you what, come up here to where I live. I will take you to Bojangles. We will get you some good country ham.
How does he get an offer to come out? I keep saying I'm going to come down and visit Don, and he says, no, please don't.
Because Don likes him, Diecast.
Well,
Are you sure Don likes him? He just threatened to take him to Bojangles.
Brian took me to Bojangles.
I like you. You're a great guy. I just want to be around you.
Oh, that's not nice. Don, we're gonna hang out eventually, because maybe not this year.
Why you threaten me? What have I done for you to threaten me like that?
Trust me, I'm gonna come down. We're gonna hang out, have a good time. Just not anytime soon, because I have no vacation time.
Yeah. Well, besides, we can't really go anywhere, do anything anyway.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I mean, but
maybe fall.
I don't think I'll have any vacation time until next year.
Oh, well, that sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like you're not going to be missing anything this year.
Recently, didn't you?
But if I get corona, I get 2 weeks off.
With
or without pay?
Can't do anything. Yeah.
With. Yeah.
Okay, that's something.
Yeah, it's something. I'm just lucky they didn't close down, honestly, where I'm working right now, because we're an essential business, but we're still slow because there's no people on. Because I work for a collision center, and there's no people on the road, so there's a lot less accidents.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
is it going to get to a point where you and some of the other people from your office are going to go out to the street and just find some cars with sledgehammers and drum up some business?
It's been to the point where we've had a half an hour now and then where we just sit around and stare at each other.
Yeah.
As an organized activity, are you having staring contests on the clock as an actual thing, or is this happening organically?
It's organically, but it is on the clock.
Well, yes, of course it's on the clock. I'm just did somebody go to the whiteboard and mark out, 1:30 to 2 staring contest?
Yes, is it on the schedule?
No.
Well, it's weird because with everything going on, nobody's going nowhere. A lot of people are staying home. But the prices of gas, I never thought I would see this happen. It's $1.32 close to where I live. $1.32. I have never seen gas, and diesel's down to almost.
That got down to about $1.80 here the last time I was out.
Yeah, and diesel is down to almost $2 a gallon. So it's
Yeah, I'm at low twos gas-wise, and I thought that was low.
Yeah, I mean, of course it's relative to everybody's area, because gas prices have a lot to do with how urban developed you are, but
yeah.
Wow, $1.30 something, Don. That's
yeah.
That's nuts.
Yeah, I know. It's just...
I haven't seen posted gas prices that low since probably I was 15.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe longer than that. I'm not sure.
So that was it's just been everything is just insane right now. So it's just
Rodimus Supreme says there was a gas station in Kentucky that dropped to 99 cents.
That's amazing.
Wow.
It was 99 cents when I first started driving, and then as soon as I started driving, it just right up.
Yeah, no, I remember back around... Do you remember when McDonald's first did their Happy Meal Beanie Babies promotion?
Yeah, I do.
That was 96, 97, I want to say. Somewhere around there. And my aunt, who lives in the Chicago area, was all about collecting those. But, since she was in a major population center, she was having the damnedest time getting most of the assortment. So me and my dad would drive around, do like 100-mile circuit every couple of days to the McDonald's we knew where they were around here. And we were able to do that because the gas was 99 cents a gallon that year, like over that summer. And like, all I can say is today I can't imagine doing that for a variety of reasons, but not the least of which is just what the gas cost of doing that like 3 times a week would be.
Yeah, it's, I said this on Twitter, but I'll be 50 this year, and I have never seen a retail situation like this. It's just,
oh yeah, this is outside the experience of you know most people alive right now.
Well, basically this is the precedence that people will reference in the future what to do if this kind of happens again.
If we have a future, yeah.
Buy all your toilet paper early.
Okay, so like in all seriousness, like not as a response to an emergency situation, but it's not a bad idea as general practice to have 4 or 5 weeks worth of toilet paper on hand at any given time, just because you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, and it's not like it's ever going to go to waste.
Right. Well, it will go to waste, but not like that.
It will not go unused. Yes. How about that?
Yeah. And still, there's just like so little on the shelf. I just keep imagining in my head like people with rooms full of toilet paper and hand sanitizer and like.
Well, there was a guy in Kentucky. There was a guy in Kentucky, I believe, that was him and his brother went around and bought over 11,000 bottles of hand sanitizer to resell. And then they couldn't because all the online places have cut down on the.
Yeah, shamefully, that was actually Tennessee, not far from where Hey Mickey lives.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Okay.
It wasn't him.
I don't know. Nah.
That's like Dononomics to the extreme.
No, because it backfired because everybody called them out for their what piece of crap it was, and nobody would let them resell them then.
Well, no, that's shattered glass Dononomics. That's the evil version.
Okay. It's like a minute to showtime, so if anybody needs to like quickly run to the bathroom or to fill up their liquor.
What is Hey Mickey on?
See, that would have been a good April Fool's joke. But no, Hey Mickey had to work today and will work again tomorrow, so it wouldn't be a good time.
Yeah, is he still working like the 10?
Yeah, the
10
highly
days
extended,
straight.
Yeah, the highly extended schedule, because for some reason that's going to protect the workplace from infection somehow. I don't think anybody really there knows what they're doing to try to keep safe, but
no,
it's an essential service of its own.
That's just like in Jersey, they have an 8 p.m. curfew because, the virus comes out at night.
Okay, since I can, let me stop this recording. Give it a second. Start a new one. Start a new one. There we go. Okay, so somebody say something just to make sure I got levels still.
Okay.
All right, we're good. Well, okay, so like good. I'm on one channel on this, and all of you are on another one. So as long as one person says something, I can see the bar jump. I know it's working. So we've got backup audio going. Diecast, start the disaster.
All right. Welcome everyone to Radio Free Cybertron, episode 668. I'm your host, Diecast.
April Fools.
April Fools. We had the biggest fool host tonight. Brian is on assignment doing some Transformers related stuff. Today I have with me Chris.
Hi.
Don.
Hello.
Matt.
I'm here.
And off camera we have Rob.
Hi.
And possibly John DeLuna.
He's here in spirit, if nothing else.
Ah, he's here.
Yeah, woo, I'm a ghost.
John DeLuna is our resident of Forlon. He is always here.
He has always been here.
He has always been here. He is always watching.
We are all DeLuna.
So what do we have going on today? We have Full-Time Toy Detectives. We're over halfway there at patreon.com/tfradio. Patreon.com/tfradio. If you like our podcast and you like what we're doing and you like Chris and Rob's awesome content, please think about signing up for the Patreon at patreon.com/tfradio. And we also had a Toy Detective this week. Why don't you tell us about that, Chris?
So we had a couple of news desk updates, which we'll talk about in the news. But we do have our Toy Detectives pilot episode for the long-form podcast that we hope to do if we meet our full-time Toy Detectives promo goal. So the pilot episode was about the evolution of Transformers collecting language, which Rob and I recorded a few weeks ago. We're currently in the planning stages for an episode 2. Hopefully we will meet our Patreon goal for this so that we can continue producing, and that episode 2 won't have to be the last of a 2-part limited series. And then Rob also posted as a follow-up to that first podcast episode a side story blog. Rob, why don't you run down that real quick?
Sure. Basically, it expands on what we talk about shared engineering, and also goes into gang molding, which is when multiple figures are on the same molds, and how that relates to Bumper, the third of the micro-change mini-cars that was never officially released, but still wound up coming out here in the U.S. in 1984. And thanks again to Night Swords and Anthony Brucali on Twitter for talking to us about this, because it just set me along this train of thought. And I think I lay out a pretty good case for how Bumper could have happened.
Yeah, I love that. That was a great article.
I'm glad you liked it.
For all of you out there in our audience, if you want to hear more like deep dive toy nerd stuff like this, definitely consider signing up to our Patreon campaign right now if you can responsibly do so and you want to support more things like this. Me and Rob recently left tformers.com. We're trying to bring our news and analytical writing to RFC and the website. So we've got the news category on the website right now where you can find all of our news desk updates, and hopefully if we can continue doing them, more focused Toy Detective content like this. So tfradio.net/Patreon or patreon.com/tfradio. Either one takes you to the same place. And if you sign up at the touch tier, we'll touch you in a symbolic way by announcing your name at random during episodes of RFC and the Toy Detectives, etc.
And also, don't forget to join our Discord at tfradio.net/Discord. That's tfradio.net/Discord. It is open while we're streaming, and it's open 24/7, 365 days a week. We have an awesome group.
That's a long week.
It is a long week.
It has been a long week.
We have an
Feels
awesome.
like sometimes.
Yeah.
We have an awesome group of people in that chat that make me laugh continually. There's a couple photos of hoarding toilet paper and Lysol and masks in the form of Raccoon City.
And art of Don with a pickle.
Yeah, it's great. So you definitely want to join our Discord.
It's
not
crazy.
only when we're streaming, but anytime.
Our Discord is the Waffle House of Discords. It is always open.
Waffle House closed down for the...
I know.
A few hundred of them did.
Yeah. But I was going to say, Chris, I'm glad you and Rob did that whole collecting language evolving thing, because we've mentioned on the show, itself that, it's about like when it started with Energon's. I'm sure it may have happened before that, when Energon Starscream came out, and people kept saying, "Oh, they're just it's a version of," that. To me, that's when it started. That people were trying to find the right words to describe what we were seeing, because everyone kept saying Energon Starscream is the same thing as Smokescreen from G2, and it's like, no, it's. It's the same transformation skeleton, but it's a different, it's like, I'm glad y'all did that so everybody can try to get on the same page, because there's a lot of discussion to be had about these figures, but not if we get lost in terminology.
Yeah, another thing too is like I did want to try to bring people up to speed with like how we specifically conceptualize this, but also to kind of make the point, like, we're at a really weird place right now where the language just is not adequate for what we're seeing. So it's not a matter of like we're talking about this the right way and other people aren't. There is just not a point right now where we can all be in one spot together and be talking about this the same way, because there is not one correct way to talk about this right now.
Right.
And then also, at the end of the show, we have a very special interview with Aaron Archer, which will be posted at the end of the show. So just make sure you listen to the very end if you want to hear that interview. Aaron Archer is the former Transformers brand manager. Brand manager?
And he was also a designer before that.
Yeah, and he was a designer before that. I feel like he had a title above brand manager, but
wasn't he the global brand manager?
Yeah, it might have been that. Might have been global brand manager. They have a lot of titles over at Hasbro. I see them come through on the emails.
Yeah, so if you're listening to the podcast version, that will be at the end of the show. If you are watching the live version right now, the interview is available on the RFC News Desk blog, and it will be shared on Facebook and Twitter as well.
And then also we had a couple other podcasts that were posted. We have Don Deal 007 was posted. Don, why don't you give us a little synopsis of what that's about? And that is available only, and correct me if I'm wrong, only to our Patreons, the Don Deal podcast.
The show itself, this current episode 7, I'm giving some figures, and I rate them in my top 10 or not. Basically, a few surprises in there. Some people might be aware of. Buy, sell, or hold on what my thoughts on some of the current figures are, or what's coming up, and then of course leaving money on the table. Which I think this week, once it gets out there to a few more people, it might be a little. It might cause a little conflict. Again, that wasn't my intention. It's just something that's been on my mind for a while, considering third party figures and collections versus the when Takara comes out with their version. So hopefully there's some interesting discussion to be had there with everybody. But it wasn't meant to cause conflict. It's just something that I think needs to be looked at, possibly.
So Don Deal episode 7, Nostradamus, is the podcast version is available to general audiences. The live stream is exclusive to our Patreon backers.
Ah, okay.
So you can find that on tfradio.net right now in the podcast form.
And then we also had a There Goes My Money, and that was posted to our Patreons first, and then a couple days later posted to everyone. And that we talked about some new upcoming pre-orders, and that was myself, Matt, and Don. Thank you guys again for being on. That was awesome.
Oh, no problem. It was nice to be on there. It was nice to get some stuff to talk about. Just with it being so, it's thin out there, guys. It's
gonna be that way for a while.
Yeah. I mean, I mentioned in pre-show, my local Walmart got in Studio Series Shockwave and Scavenger, and that's the first new thing I've seen that wasn't all that Cyberverse stuff that Target had been putting out for the last few months. And that's it. I mean, I've seen nothing else, and it's just...
Yeah, so we've heard the new Studio Series Deluxe Wave is starting to filter out to some locations, both Walmart and Targets in the U.S. We did have the sighting in Canada recently of some of the Netflix Siege stuff, although we'll talk more about that in a few minutes. There is some stuff that is making its way out new, but, I mean, distribution's probably going to be more troubled and spotty than average just because of what's going on right now.
Yeah.
So, did anyone get anything new this week?
Well, I got some Seacons that I already had, but these come with these nice slip covers from Hasbro that are in all English instead of like a mix of English and probably some Japanese text on there. So these are the Hasbro Pulse releases of Turtler and Golf, and I have two of Pulse Golf here in addition to the one that I already had. So I'm insane, but that's all I got this week.
I also got Seacons this week.
Oh, I've been looking forward to this.
Yay! So I got Golf and Turtler, and man, these I love these things so much. There was, after we all kind of got burned on Big Powered last year, there was naturally some trepidation about how well the remolded parts for these were going to go, but these turned out pretty fantastically, and I am super happy with my purchase. Like, I cannot wait to get the rest of these things in hands. God, the face sculpt on Snaptrap is just marvelous. The colors pop on these things. He's even got some chrome on his shell there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Well, Matt, does Snaptrap have the Piranacon head built in like
Yes.
Silverbolt? Well, can you show that off just so we can see what the head looks like?
If I can find it. Hold on.
Yeah. Because like I said,
I mean, some guys have that problem.
It's just, see, I'm not picking them up. I mean, I kind of want to, but also it's like, okay, all right, yeah, okay, that looks pretty good. That looks really good.
All the head sculpts on the 4 Seacons I have so far, I've been really happy with. Like, they all look like what they're supposed to, but they also all have like a unique feel about them compared to each other. It's very satisfying. Like, there's not, if you never handled any of the Terracons before this, you would not think that these were retools of something else. Like, there's enough care and new parts put into these. They feel like new toys, original new toys.
Absolutely. And some of the transformation elements are way different than, the Terracons too. Like, I love the way his turtle bits here fold up to make a chest plate.
His turtle bits.
well, now that's a great use of the legs instead of them just sort of just sticking, randomly off the shell.
And I know, Chris, you had a problem with this on your Golf, where the
fish head, yeah.
Yeah, the shell of the fish head, where it folds over on his back, there are tabs and slots. But if you plug them in, the slots will start to stress.
Yeah. But you don't really need to plug them in because the joint is strong enough to hold it in place as is, in my experience.
It absolutely is. And also, for a little extra support, I found that his fin, it folds under the shell, so it will fit up against his back too for a little extra support, so it doesn't wobble back and forth. But
so now my assessment on this is that Turtler is like tremendously a better toy than Hunger. Would you concur?
I'm gonna have to agree on that. Yes. And I like Hunger more than most people do, but
I was pretty impressed with Hunger, so that's a good thing to hear.
Yeah.
Also, I picked up another X-Transbot Stunticon of the G1 variety. I got Flip Out.
Nice.
Now, I've heard he's kind of really like thin on profile. Is he like
a little bit?
Yeah,
I've seen worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
I mean, people complain he's too thick, he's too thin. Can't win.
I mean, I've seen worse. But I mean, God, he's just perfect, absolutely perfect. Little not masterpiece, not Wild Rider. So I have all but one of the G1 and all but one of the G2. So
well now the G2 you're
waiting for either because it hasn't been released yet.
Yeah, so the G2 you're still waiting for Motormaster, right? For them to do a G2 version of that one.
Yes, I have all the cars on that one. As far as G1, I have not picked up the drag strip yet. I'm holding off on that one a little bit because there were reports of the initial release of it being somewhat fragile.
I didn't have any problems with mine, but I mean, I did see those reports.
Yeah. So once pre-orders slow down here, I'll pick one up. He's still not hard to find. Wild Rider, on the other hand, was hard to find. I went through 2 or 3 stores before I found one in stock, and finally found one at Toy Dojo. So,
I see all these Stunticons, and it's like I really like some of these Motormasters I'm seeing, but it's like I do not want to go down the rabbit hole after the Fans Project Stunticons. I just don't want to go through that again. And now there's 3 Stunticon sets to pick from.
But there's only one set in G2 colors, Don.
That is true.
I know. That is true. That's very true.
I have to save my thoughts till, I have all 3 sets. But honestly, I think right now the X-Transbots set is my favorite out of 3. And I'm including Fans Toys, which is usually my favorite out of anything.
I like the X-Transbots because the cars, the limbs, scale with the Masterpiece Transformer Autobot cars in robot mode and vehicle mode. The Fans Projects ones, those things are tall. Like, they dwarf Masterpiece Autobot cars.
Which is the one
you mean Fans Toys? You said Fans Project.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry. The Fans Toys and the DX9,
yeah.
Now, which one is the one that has a super long trailer? Because I was like...
DX9.
I was looking at that trailer, it's like... Wow, that's just...
The X-Transbots one doesn't have a trailer yet.
Yeah.
That's the only thing, like, if that trailer's good, that's going to be my winner, probably, from what I've seen so far.
I just can't decide if I like... I'm still debating, because it's like, do I want them to actually become the limbs, or do I want them to piece around, like, we've seen that transformation both ways, where they actually become the arms and legs, or they just sort of attach to Motormaster and sort of just hang there off the skeletal build. It's just like
toy style versus cartoon style, basically.
Yeah, so it's like
the X-Transbots are absolutely going to be cartoon style.
Yeah. So
Which, Don, if you can't decide between those two, well, that's your motivation to buy both sets so that you can have it both ways.
Actually, I think I'm going to wait and save my money for Zeta Toys Riding if it still comes out, because that's what I'm looking at right now as my next combiner.
Hey, Rob, did you get anything this week?
Just I got the last volume of Dragon Ball Z that I needed, so I just need like 3 volumes of Dragon Ball, and I will finally have all of that in one language, in one format. After,
that's amazing. How many years has that taken you to accomplish?
About 25, I think. Yeah, so that's about right, because I think I started buying these in Japanese in like 96 from the comic shop in the mall. And I also got what was supposed to be just a package of cookies and wound up being a 600-page book on the making of Blade Runner, which would be great if I had ever actually watched Blade Runner.
That's an odd goof.
Yeah.
Also, really disappointing when you're expecting to receive a box of cookies.
Yes. Much less edible. Really not what I was going for.
I'm glad that you said it's less edible and just, not inedible, because, if you try hard enough...
Yeah.
That'll clean you right out inside, too.
Oh, yeah. But that's it for me for this week.
All right, cool. I'll go real quick. I forgot to mention this. I got this a week or 2 ago on one of TF Source's sales, but it's the Function X1 virus code, which is the black with the red head. And I've always liked the look of that. And it was I think it was on sale for like $30.
Yeah, that was a hard version to get for the longest time. And Chris, you and I have talked about this in the past. While those haven't aged well, the engineering on code is still some very interesting engineering. If you don't have the figure with the sliding hood and everything, it's a really well done figure. It's just it is of its time, but there's still some really great engineering there.
Right, and it's
I actually sold off. Go ahead.
We were probably going in the same direction. I was going to say it's one of those figures. That line where it's not really worth that much anymore. You're going to lose money by getting rid of it. So if you if you like them enough to keep them on your shelf, then I wouldn't get rid of them.
Yeah, so I was lucky enough to be able to sell mine off around 2016 or so. But I was gonna say, like, I sold off all the Function X stuff I had except for Code, because like Code, like Don said, it just a really interesting engineering method for that, and it was the one where even after a fair bit of time had passed since I had bought it, it was one that I still like really enjoyed the look and feel of, where I didn't think Smart Robin or like what was their mind wipe called? But
Sigma,
some of them
Sigma
just
L.
did not.
Yeah,
Sigma. Some of them just did not age very well, and they kind of aged quickly for me. Like prematurely aged, I would say.
Yeah,
but yeah, Code I think still really does hang in there, even if Code is the origin of the fandom meme of ankle tilts.
Yeah, Smart Robin still did the way it extends and compresses when it transforms. Sigma L, I think Sigma L really started showing that they were not. It wasn't keeping up with the times, because there was a while between Smart Robin and Sigma L. And their highbrow was just not. I'm not going to sell them.
I never bought that one.
No.
Yeah, I did, because I was trying to complete the set, but they never even finished the set. I don't believe, because Hardhead never came out. I don't think. But no, but that virus is a very nice figure. That from that mold.
Smart Robin and Quadruple U, which was Weird Wolf, both had really interesting engineering things going on, but like they got to the point where they did not. Official stuff was feeling to me like it was accomplishing more in terms of like posability and character sculpt, and so at that point, all that the Fans Project toys had to fall back on was the engineering, and it wasn't enough for me. And like I said, I was able to get out of my set of them early enough to not lose very much. Where today, like, you're not going to get anything out of them, so you might as well keep them for like novelty or something.
Exactly. And I also got this at Walmart today. I got Hammer Bite, which these were only they were on the shelf for like under a wrong peg for like $7.50 or $8.50 or something like that. And I was like, "There's no way they're that price." But I took it up to the register and I was like, "How much is this?" And they were only like 11 something. So I was like, "Okay, yeah, it's not bad."
I think they're on rollback.
Okay. So it was $11.92 or something like that. I don't know. But this is the only one I was interested in, and it kind of has that. It looks like a cool transformation because it turns into like a hammerhead shark, and it's a 9-step. So I did, because I thought these were roughly around like $20. So I didn't think that was bad at all.
Yeah, I think SRP on those is supposed to be 15. I think that's the warrior class.
And then, unfortunately, I also got 2 black boxes with some junk in them. I didn't open them up because I don't want to be disappointed, in the black box of junkiness. But I got them.
Well, What's important to keep in mind here is that Diecast got C-Cons before Unicron.
Indeed.
And I can't even argue with you because I got 2. So technically, yes, I did get C-Cons. Not all of them, but...
Don, what were you going to say?
The thing is, Diecast, you didn't have to buy them, Diecast. If you hate them that much, you didn't have to buy them.
Do you know me?
But he buys everything.
But I'm saying, if you really don't... Never mind.
No, Don, it's just me joking. I have no problem with C-Cons,
I know.
Other than that, they're coming out before Unicron.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's the before Unicron part that he has an issue with.
As we willed to happen, because it has always been the official stance of Radio Free Cybertron.
It doesn't even really bother me now, just knowing that Unicron is coming out, It would have really stung.
Unicron's probably coming out. Like, there could still be, mitigating circumstances between now and next year that would require it to be canceled. And then all you would have is C-Cons and no Unicron.
but I would have a lot more money in my pocket.
That's true. But no Unicron.
But no Unicron. Yeah, so I'm assuming it's coming out. So it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, it's probably coming out. We're just making fun.
But yeah, that's all I got this week. I did get a couple other things, but honestly, I was cleaning over the weekend since we're doing the whole stay-at-home thing, and
you don't know where they are.
I lost a pile somewhere. Yeah, because I got the Furai model kit Megatron that was on sale for like $30 or something like that.
Autobot Megatron?
Yeah, the Autobot Megatron.
That's a good kit.
Yeah, so that was real cheap. And I was looking at some stores, and some stores were like still have it on pre-order. And it was on sale through, because I guess they were going to do a convention, but the convention was shut down. So they sold everything online.
It was Bluefin's store, and it was because Emerald City Comic Con got canceled, I believe.
Yeah. So, it also had my, which I talked about already. I got the Magna comic book, the
manga.
The manga. Yeah. So that it was in that pile, and I'm not quite sure where it went. But how about you,
John?
John?
What did you get this week?
Absolutely nothing.
All right, John, did you get anything?
I got the Seacons, so ditto on that. I've only opened Golf. He's nice. He's got a ton of accessories, that's for sure. I'm not sure where everything goes in robot mode. I haven't looked at the instructions, but that's a challenge. So anyway, he's fun. And then Turtler, I guess, tomorrow.
Oh, nice. That's weird. They came separate days.
Oh,
no, I think he's just staggering them.
No, he's only opened one.
Oh,
he will open the other tomorrow.
Yeah, you got to pace it out a little bit. So, and then I did get the shipping, like the pre-shipping, or we're about to ship email for the next two. So,
yes.
Here they come.
All at once.
So one other thing about the Seacons also. So like not all of my Seacons came in one box together, but the two Golfs came in one box together, and then Turtler came in another shipping box. I was actually kind of expecting all three of them to be in individual boxes, so that was a pleasant surprise, sort of.
Both of my Golfs came together, and both of my Turtlers came together.
Oh, you got two Turtlers?
Yes, I did.
And Brian also got two Turtlers because one of them he's going to have to get painted as a Unicron. And that's
going to be an interesting project.
Yeah.
So you may also have a Seacon Unicron before Unicron.
That seems plausible.
Yes.
And then to John's point, there's at least one thing that comes with Golf that can't go on Golf's robot mode, which is the sword blade piece. It doesn't really fit anywhere well.
It doesn't fit in his hands very well. It's kind of awkward.
No, because like it's supposed to be for King Poseidon's sword, and like you can kind of clutch it as a hand weapon for Golf, but it doesn't work well at all. I think it had the blade backward for it to fit in his hand.
No,
it's just not. It's just they kind of gave up, and they were like, whatever.
Yeah.
So,
one thing I found interesting about the Seacon set is the feet for the combined form, and how the toe piece is interchangeable. It comes right off.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, Turtler can hold those as claw weapons, even if you want.
Yeah, but I don't understand why they designed them with interchangeable parts, because I thought Takara Tomy said that the Seacons were, the end of the line for their combiners. Like, why would you make interchangeable parts now?
Well, as me and Rob touched on somewhat in our Pilot Toy Detectives podcast episode, sometimes things like that will be designed in just in case they want to do something further with it down the line, even if they don't have a specific plan right now. So I would suspect it's something like that.
Still haven't got my Guard City or Battle guy. Just throwing that out there.
and we still don't know exactly what that Masterpiece Raiden set is.
I had thought about that, but I'm almost expecting them to. I'm almost expecting them to do Raiden like the size of one of the Titan combiners, like Devastator or
it'll be Devastator size.
Yeah. In which case these would be way too small.
And it wouldn't be using that same hardware either way.
Yeah.
I wonder if now again, I don't know if this is possible, but with God Neptune only having 5 of the 6, if they keep with the theme of God Neptune only having 5 Seacons, would that make a difference on those parts if they left somebody out? That they could leave parts off to make it cheaper for the recolor?
Probably not. I would expect that these are all molded with Turtler.
Okay.
Seems likely.
So let's go ahead and jump to the news. First, we have the RFC News Desk 086. Why do you have to put the 0 in front?
Because that's the format Brian gave me.
Okay.
And I mean, at 86, we're going to break 100 soon enough, so it may as well be there.
Yeah, I mean, since me and Rob have come on full time here doing this, we've definitely picked up the regularity and pace of news desk content. So where 100 at one point would have seemed in the recent past, quite distant still, now we're on pace to get there probably by summer.
Yeah, and based on
at the rate the news is going anyway.
Yeah, and that 0 could be important in certain numbering systems for keeping things in the right order. So you don't have like episode 100 coming right after episode 10. If you sort things, that could be important.
Yeah.
But Takara Tomy announces their announcement of Generation Select's Super Megatron, and Chris and Rob, you have to talk about this a little bit, especially because I have no idea where Super Megatron comes from in the fiction.
Battlestars.
Yeah, so early Tuesday morning, Takara Tomy's Twitter account, Takara Tomy Toys, tweeted out a new set of silhouettes for the Super Megatron, which they originally teased with a silhouette a year ago. Basically saying, we're going to have the announcement reveal for this on Thursday, which Thursday Japan time is Wednesday night U.S. time. So right now it is 10:04 a.m. in Japan. I'm expecting this announcement to come around noon Japanese time. So about 45 minutes after I expect the show to be over tonight, we'll probably get the photos of Super Megatron. But yeah, Super Megatron's from Battlestars. He's the revived, upgraded form of Galvatron, designed to be the match to Star Convoy. This, from the silhouette, we can tell is going to be a retool of Titan's Return Galvatron, appropriately.
Hopefully a heavy retool.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, look at Turtler,
I am looking
if we can
at
expect
Turtler.
Yes.
I look at Turtler a lot.
Can you make him
nothing else?
Can you make him leader size to match?
That would be probably tricky, although I will note that the leaders are basically Voyager size now, so it's not going to make a huge difference. So,
but he will be smaller than the full combined Star Convoy.
Yeah, that's an ongoing trend with Megatrons. So what can you do?
Yeah, I think that was more to Diecast's point, but you are also correct. But yeah, since it's a Voyager figure, we can assume it'll be around 6,500 yen, and because they also did their full reveal of Star Convoy in early April last year, that came out in September, so we could probably assume a similar timetable is planned for this. But when they do the official reveal sometime later this evening, we should see all that information and have a better idea of exactly how far they've gone with the retools. But taking Turtler as an example here, they could have gone really far on this still kept it within their target price range.
And if you're listening to the show live right now, I'm sure you can expect an RFC News Desk about it when they do reveal the photos.
If it doesn't happen during recording, yeah, there will be a news desk as soon as possible after that goes up.
And then if you're listening to this recorded and edited, then you should go back and look for that news desk's 087, which is what I would assume that would be.
Most likely, yeah.
And then we have RFC News Desk 085, because I'm like Ron Burgundy and I have to read it if it's there. Earthride Earth Mode 2-pack listing found on Amazon. This is one I got super excited about, and I was like, "Where's the link? Where's the link?" And it turns out it's
Italy.
from Italy. Yeah, so I couldn't
Italy
pre-order
and Germany
it.
have this.
Okay.
So the pre-orders are not available on the U.S. website, although the listing does exist if you know how to look for it, but the page is not active. But this is in Amazon's system. On the European sites where you can actually look at the page, or could, I don't know if it's still active right now, the price was consistent with 2 Voyager figures, so that would tend to, lead you down a path of what these probably are. I go into some detail about this in the News Desk episode, but I'm basically thinking Seekers.
I have a more cynical idea for what this is, which is
I liked your concept also.
Yes, which is say Skywarp, Blue Streak, and maybe a Battle Master to make up the price, and then we will get a similar
2-pack anymore, would it?
No, well, they often don't fully count the small figures in these. I don't believe. Pretty sure, haven't there been instances?
It'll be interesting. What was that one with the repaint of Skytread and
Sideswipe?
G2 Sideswipe. Yeah, if they considered that a 2-pack or a 4-pack.
Yeah, I don't think they named that one as like a. Yeah, I don't think they named that one with a number in any of the.
You're right.
Yeah, but now that you mentioned it's a 2-pack, yeah, so there wouldn't be a Battle Master probably to fill out the price, which would just make things, even just that much worse. So I'm not giving up this theory entirely yet. But,
I like the concept though, because like that would make good sense, because the Datsuns were sort of positioned like the counterpoint to the Seekers on the Autobot side.
Yeah, so we could get two Earth Mode 2-packs like this, filling out both those teams.
Well, remember also in the club comic, when Shatterglass first started, Prime called the Autobot cars his Seekers.
Yeah.
So that was also kind of a thing. So they could be looking at something along those lines too, like you said.
Yeah, I mean, classically they have been kind of each other's equivalents.
Yeah.
And then I guess we're done with that news article. But go back to, if you want to listen to it, you can go to tfradio.net and listen to it. I know their News Desk 86, which I listened to at work, was only like 3 minutes long. So it's super easy to consume, especially if you just need a quick break and you want to hear some awesome Transformers news. I definitely recommend checking those out. Walmart delays Netflix Siege figures until June. And here's the April Fool's joke that Walmart played on me. Because I got 2 emails saying your items has been pushed back till 4/1, which is today, April 1st. And I'm like, okay. And then a couple hours later, I got the email that they're pushed back till June 16th. So
man.
I got 2 emails saying they were pushed back, but the one was only pushed back till today.
I got 2 emails as well, and the first one said June 16th, and the second one said June 17th. So it keeps incrementally moving back farther away.
So I was half expecting, so did I get caught in the first group and mine are going to ship out, and maybe they had to do another run and that won't ship out till the second group of June, or are they all going to ship out? Or knowing Walmart that that they'll be available in the store a month before that, they'll actually ship from online. This was the biggest April Fool's joke of all. Thank you, Walmart.
I mean, we probably should have seen this coming when these posted with a release date of April 1st.
Yeah. I thought it was possible just because I had the deluxes in my hands at
I mean, we know these toys have been produced already. You had full package samples. That's not something that they just like turn out 5 or 10 of those. That's part of a whole run that they pull a few from for promotional purposes. And of course, in Canada, the Voyagers have come out already at retail.
Yeah.
So this just represents a distribution problem or delay on Walmart's side in the United States specifically. These toys are also starting to become available in Southeast Asia through their channels. So the toys are made, they're out there in the systems. Just, Walmart in the US, we're going to have to wait a little bit more for them to get where they're going.
Honestly, so did everyone with the CCon sitting rapid fire like this, I'm okay with waiting another couple months.
Yeah, I didn't even pre-order any of these.
I just pre-ordered Hotlink because
even Hotlink, I was not ready to commit to at the time because I appreciate what it represents, but it does not to me look like what it's supposed to be, and I don't really like the style of battle damage they've done on this series of Siege figures. It's really, really intrusive to me.
And someone leaked the mystery box.
Robot Kingdom.
Yeah. And I'm sad to say that my prediction that it might have a soft goods cape did not happen.
I mean, it has a form of soft goods.
Yeah, it's just Ultra Magnus with even more battle damage and a Cherry Jolly Rancher.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, fluorescent clear pink rung and a wad of Play-Doh with some Energon cubes in the middle of it.
Yeah, it looks like they've wrung all they can out of that mold.
If Brian was here, I would recommend hanging up on you, Don, but that would just cause too many problems right now.
Yeah,
especially because I don't know how to use new Skype. We figured out on ours, or there goes my money. And then we do have a topic this week. What was your first Transformer? Also, if you got back into collecting at some point, what was the toy that brought you back?
I could go first because I probably have a more unique entry point than most of you.
Yeah, probably.
Because I started with G2, not G1.
Yeah.
Because that's how much younger I am. I'm about 5 years younger than most everybody here, except for Diecast, who, is mentally half my age. But no, I got into Transformers when the G2 cartoon started in, 1993? And from KB Toys in Randhurst Mall in suburban Chicago area, the first 2 Transformers I bought were G2 Bumblebee and Sea Spray. Now, there is a little bit of fuzziness in my head because sometime around that time, I grabbed a handful of Micromasters from a garage sale me and my dad went to for 10 cents each. And I don't remember if that was before or after getting Bumblebee and Sea Spray, but in terms of buying a new at retail product, the G2 figures definitely were my first 2 Transformers. And actually, I still have Bumblebee up here somewhere too.
Did anything get you back into collecting, or you were never out?
So I kind of took 2007 off because the movie line, the first movie line, just did not interest me, visually or in how it was engineered. I enjoyed watching the movie. I just didn't want any of the merchandise that went with it. So I kind of took that year off and spent some time among the Power Rangers fandom, which that's kind of its own experience. It was the animated toys though that actually kind of sparked me to come back into Transformers hard again. But yeah, here's my G2 Bumblebee. This is still my original first Transformer G2 Bumblebee.
Nice.
Is it shiny or is there paint missing?
Well, it's chrome. I mean,
but there's no chrome missing.
I mean, it's got some scratches on it, but the chrome's actually in very good shape, I would say.
Oh, nice.
It's a little dusty.
Yeah, that's a very pretty toy.
Yeah, no, I actually really like the chrome yellow on this. I wouldn't exactly call it gold, but yeah, it's shiny. It's It's pretty. G2 Sea Spray actually is nicer looking. I don't have that at hand, but if you want a really pretty G2 toy, Beachcomber, which I picked this up much later.
You'll have to take a picture of that G2 Sea Spray and like post it to your Twitter or something, because
I don't even know where my I don't know where my G2 Sea Spray is, unfortunately.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
but of course, you could go to like tfu.info and find archival photos of it there.
And one thing about G2 Sea Spray is more than any of the other chrome ones, there's so many color shading on that Sea Spray versus.
Is there not just the two?
Huh? No, I know. Well, no, I mean, I've seen several through the years, and there's it's very minor shade differences, but I've seen it more on Sea Spray than I have Beachcomber or Cliff Jumper or Bumblebee.
It wasn't Cliff Jumper, it was Hubcap.
Sorry, Hubcap, thank you.
I mean, so I used to make that mistake too, because it's a chrome red little mini car, so obviously you would just assume, oh, that's Cliff Jumper.
Yeah,
actually,
I forgot it was.
And one thing, there's two lines of thought why that was Hubcap and not Cliff Jumper. One was that Hubcap was the only version of the mold that they had access to at that point, on the theory that maybe they permanently changed Cliff Jumper to be Hubcap back during G1, or they wanted something that would look a little bit more distinct from Bumblebee, so they made Hubcap red instead of orange like it should have been. But with Sea Spray, as far as I know, the only distinct color variations there are is the normal G1 blue chrome, normal G1 blue color in chrome, and then there's a purple version.
Yeah, but I have seen two or three side by side, like it shows, and unless it was a trick of the light or the case it was in or whatever, but to me it looked like there were very subtle shading differences in the purple. So a lot like with Grimlock, that was a running color change.
And we saw the same thing with the Mega Transmetals in Beast Wars.
Yeah, the Optimus Primal, especially when you got the Megatron purple chrome.
Yeah, or this beauty right here.
Yeah, I never saw the deeper purple. Mine is like the
I call this one pink, honestly.
Yeah. But yeah, the only thing I just brought that up because it depends. If you're going to be trying to find a G2 Sea Spray, there's going to be some color variation in that purple. Not major, but it's there.
So Don, your Transformer was a Diaclone, right?
No. I started. My first Transformer was Sludge. I got it on my 14th birthday, and I've been collecting ever since for 35 years, almost.
Rob, what about you?
Okay, so my first Transformer was Windcharger, because the Autobot mini cars were cheap. That they were just about always a good first step when you were, looking to get into Transformers, and I always did like that. I'm glad I ultimately got the keychain because I played with that until it came apart. It was totally not salvageable. I was a destructive child. And yeah, there's a lot of things. A lot of my G1 Transformers either just disappeared, or I broke them, or in some cases I wanted to see how they worked and took them apart and never got them quite back together quite right. That's what happened to my original Ultra Magnus.
Oh.
Yeah, but yeah, Windcharger was my first figure. It was I really liked it, obviously, or I would not be here on a podcast 30 some years later. And I kind of got out of Transformers for a while, and the first thing I got coming back in was Armada Supercon Optimus Prime, which is just still a great figure. And
Bendy Prime, right?
That's the one, yeah. And that is that. And talking about that, and talking about how I liked everything about it except the hip articulation. Talking about that on a Gundam message board is actually how I met XV, because he's the one who told me how to remove the thighs and swap them so those decorative parts on the front were not blocking the leg articulation. Luckily, I was better at that point at taking things apart and putting them back together. That's pretty much it for me. I've been messing with Transformers ever since Armada. I never have really taken a long-term break since.
So on a lot of levels, it's by fault Rob is here at this point.
Yeah, pretty much every single one, really.
I'm sorry.
It's fine.
As far as I can remember, my first Transformer was Gears.
Oh, that seems really appropriate, actually.
Yes, I believe it. It was very impactful on my formative years. And I collected G1 up until it was close to the end. The last thing I can remember was getting one of the Pretender Monsters ice pick. And after that, I was pretty much out until Armada rolled around. Robots in Disguise. I picked up a couple things from Robots in Disguise. I had Optimus Prime and Ultra Magnus, but I and Megatron, but I didn't go overboard or anything like that. I picked up a couple things from Armada. Again, stuff that struck my interest. Optimus Prime, Starscream, but Classics is what really got me back into it. Once Classics hit, I was in full bore. I bought everything I could get my hands on, and here we are.
I'm kind of similar, I guess. I honestly can't even remember my first Transformer, but the first one that, if I search my memory right now, was Ultra Magnus. G1, obviously. And then I was out of Transformers for a long, long time and I can't remember what came first. It was either the G1 reissues at Toys R Us or Alternators. Whatever one came first, that's the one that got me in. And I can't remember which one was first.
I think the G1 reissues were first by a little bit, but they were both of those things happened pretty close together.
Yeah, because I was in on the Alternators and the G1 reissues. And the only reason I was probably in Toys R Us is because at the time I was collecting 1/18 scale die-cast cars. And Toys R Us was a great place to go to get those.
Yeah.
At that point, they had a ton of them. Yeah. So, like I said, it was either the reissues or the Alternators, because the Alternators were 1/24 scale. So it just made sense to leap over back into Transformers. And then, like Matt said, during that time is also when Classics came back out. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to get these too. So that's what kind of got me back into it. And then RID went back to cars, and so I started buying the RID stuff, and I've been buying Transformers ever since.
Is John still with us?
Oh, I'm lurking like a creep.
Do you want to weigh in on this real quick?
Yeah, I guess I can. I cannot remember, that far back, 36 years ago with complete clarity, but I think the earliest memory I have is opening a Soundwave. Anything past that is just kind of a mishmash of GoBots and G.I. Joe. Just vague toy memories, but I definitely remember opening a Soundwave on my parents' couch. Not my couch. I didn't own anything back then. So that's probably my first, certainly my first memorable Transformer. And then what got me back into collecting was just the internet in general. So like mid-90s, when probably not coincidentally, as the internet was kind of becoming like a mainstream thing for nerds at least. BotCon was becoming a thing. Just kind of Transformers culture was becoming a thing. And so I stumbled across that, and what really got me, like, what turned the light on to, like, toy collecting was Rugby's Starbase, and seeing, like, listings for G1 toys just in general, but specifically listings for loose, complete combiners, which were definitely like this like white whale when I was growing up, because my only memory of having a combiner was, I think my aunt for a birthday or something bought me the Devastator gift set. And so I had him, and I'm pretty sure I destroyed that and lost parts within, hours. But after that, like, the rest of my Transformers history as a child was just random bits and pieces of combiner teams. Like G1 Hunger was top 5, like one of my favorite toys growing up. He was amazing. And I maybe had one other Terracon. But anyway, so like, seeing that as like a at the time high school senior, college freshman, that I could get a bag that had a complete Computron in it was like life changing. And it was, I forget what it was, like $60 or something like that back then. But I don't even know if it was that much. Somebody go back in the Wayback Machine, figure that out. But just the idea that, after all these years, you could still like go back and get these toys was like amazing. And that was something you really couldn't do unless you were at a flea market just a few years prior to that. Like the ability to buy vintage toys like that just didn't like realistically exist unless you lived in a major city with that kind of like subculture, like a giant comic book shop or something like that. Or like I said, like a giant flea market with like nerdy stuff until the internet came along. So once I bought a couple of vintage loose things on the internet, and at that time, at least for me, you would go to the post office and get a money order and mail it to the retailer, and then just, I guess, cross your fingers and hope like a few weeks later you would actually get what you would get, the toy that you saw a JPEG of on their site. A lot of trust there. Once I did that a couple times, and that it like the system works for you, I was off and running. And so that was like 22, 23 years ago, and I've been collecting off and on ever since.
So I want to go through our Discord chat, tfradio.net/Discord, because some of our audience members there have been sharing their first Transformers. Join us on Discord every Wednesday to interact with us during the show, and we'll probably read out some of your stuff if you've got some cool stuff to say. So the first one I'm seeing here, so Logos Minor, I'm assuming this means first and what got back into with. So Beast Wars Cheetor, and then movie 2007 Leader Optimus Prime, which I think those are both really good choices for that. I've handled both those toys, and they're like really solid representations of their time period.
Logos, was that a Supreme Cheetor?
No, that would be Beast Machines.
Oh, okay. Because Don loves Supreme Cheetor.
Oh yeah, that's his favorite. So Rodimus Supreme says that his first Transformer was Armada Power Links Hot Shot, so that was the Hot Rod colored one. Which basically just reminds us that Rodimus Supreme is disastrously younger than like all of us. Captain Rufus's first 2 Transformers were Red Bumblebee and Huffer. So that's actually really interesting. That was the red variant. 3 L's, 2 R's, who I'm pretty sure is Sean Hamilton, started with Micronauts, which at least is adjacent.
Doesn't count.
Let's see. F. Perkins was given GoBots first, the Porsches. Let's see. Oh, okay, here's a really interesting one. Nest of the Hill people on the Discord. I started with a Blue Streak 3D puzzle that could be put together as a robot or a car.
Oh, nice. I remember those. Nice. Yes.
F. Perkins' first actual Transformer was Pipes. What else do we have here?
Well, Captain Rufus says he got back in with Transmetal Rat Trap, which was a pretty good figure.
Yeah, for the like 5 minutes the chrome lasted.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can tell I didn't actually make a list of these separately. I'm actually just literally going through the Discord back scroll. Okay, so I'm down to Blade Raider here. His first Transformers was the Bat Optimus Prime and Crocodile Megatron 2-pack, so the very first Beast Wars toy.
Oh, man. God,
Although he says he had some MicroMasters before that without a specific memory of getting them. Let's see. He sat out a lot of the like middle stuff between Beast Wars and like the Unicron trilogy, but still picked up some stuff in there. But got back more in with Energon because of the Decepticons not having intrusive gimmicks. Which, I mean, I get that. The Decepticon toys in Energon actually were really nice.
Yeah.
Jared Hebert's first Transformer was either Energon/Universe RC, the little motorcycle, or the Land Assault Minicon team from Armada. And he got back in with Combiner Wars Onslaught. Also a very nice choice.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so Ness says his first actual Transformer was Wheeljack, followed shortly by Prowl. Nero's first G1 was Gears. First Combiner was the European Defensor gift set. Wow. Oh, but his first transforming robot was a Microman/Diaclone transforming gun, similar to Megatron, but different. Yeah, so the Gun Robo line actually had a lot of interesting stuff in it. That's where Browning was drawn from. Contrary to popular belief, though, the Revolver Magnum robot that Treadshot seemed to be based on, I don't think was part of that, but was part of a different gun robot line. And that pretty much brings us back up to current. Although I had no idea Jared Hebert was that young. He said in 2004 he would have been about 8.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Rage.
Yeah, so that was an interesting talk.
And
lots of interesting entries from our chat audience too. Like some of those were actually some pretty cool memories.
At tfradio.net/discord.
Yeah.
And then also remember to check out our Amazon link, tfradio.net/Amazon. There's a couple things on here for a decent price if you're looking for Transformers. I'll go through a couple real quick. They got Generations Megatron, Voyager, the Siege for $15.90. They have the Transformers War for Cybertron, Voyager, Thundercracker Siege for $16.99. So that's a Voyager figure. They have it listed at $19.99, marked down to $16.99, but that's actually a $29.99 figure.
Yeah,
so that's a really good price.
Yeah, they also have Volume 1 of Transformers the manga still in stock for about $16.
Yep. And if you haven't seen any new Transformers on the shelf lately, they have one of our favorites, which is Spinister, for the regular price of $19.99. So definitely pick him up. I have only seen him on the shelf one time.
He is absolutely worth picking up.
Oh yeah, great figure.
That's an essential Generations figure.
Yeah.
And he'll fit in if you're only doing Earthrise. You're not doing Siege. He fits in with the Earthrise.
Yeah, he'll be fine.
Nice. Yeah.
He's a good transitional figure between those lines. Like they worked that out really well when they were putting things together.
Yeah.
Him and Astro Train, really.
Yeah, Astro Train. Well, he's in both packaging, so he's. You can. Yeah, no,
I'm thinking like in terms of visual styling, like Spinister and Astro Train both really work as transition points between what Siege was doing and what Earthrise is.
Absolutely. And then also make sure to check out our Patreon, tfradio.net/Patreon. Help support the full-time toy detectives. We have shirts at tfradio.net/shirts. If you would like to pick up some shirts that John DeLuna himself designed.
And he's really good at it too, so you should do that.
Eventually John will give us some new shirts too.
Hopefully. We've been waiting like a year.
Yeah, we have plenty of shirts on there.
I've been waiting a year for the new website that I was told a year ago is coming.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And they're not responding to my emails. But oh no, yeah, I know.
And
we might be in the game for a new T-shirt shop at some point this year.
Yeah, that might be a thing to look into.
Shopping for a new shop.
Yeah, might be something to look into when things calm down. In the meantime, though, it's time to touch our patrons, or rather to thank our patrons who have joined us at the touch level. So a big thank you for your support to Kevin Dorsey, Sean Bratton. I'm going to butcher this name. I'm so sorry. Jacob Owen Lutia, I think that's right.
I believe so.
That sounds like what Brian says. I'm going to assume that he has learned to pronounce it correctly, but if I got that wrong, I apologize. Sean Hamilton.
I know that guy.
Jason W. Rye, Mike Mallory, Jason Hiley, Jonathan James, Matthew Deadman. Deadman is the greatest last name. Like, that's just... If my last name was Deadman, I would just be referred to by my last name all the time. Hector Bones, also a really good last name.
Yeah.
Brian Cooper, Nathan Sampy, Spider Bob, Rabbits, and Emmett Sresovich. I am sure I mispronounced that also, and again, I apologize. They can all be found at our patron credit page at tfradio.net/credit. So you can see at any time who is showing their support for the show and making things like RFC, the Toy Detectives, all this good stuff happen.
Thank you guys
thank you all so much.
Yes, thank you so much. And
all right, Diecast, take us out.
Ooh, this is a long list. You can follow us.
I trust you to get this one right.
You can follow us on Patreon, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Roku, Fire TV, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, and everywhere you want to be. Remember, you can find this episode at www.tfradio.net/668. That's the episode number, 668. To view the show notes, don't forget to leave us a voicemail on our voicemail. You can also use it to send text messages to 931-99-GOBOT. That's 931-994-6268. Don't forget to check out zonebase.org, at RoboRobSpringer, at ThatJohnD, even though he's here. I should have probably left that off.
Yeah, so Rob Springer's not here with us, but you can find him on Twitter at RoboRobSpringer or check out his website at zonebase.org. We also have every month his podcast, which is not the Being Awesome anymore. It's
Transform Squadron.
Yes, that's the one. I'm sorry, Rob.
And happy birthday, Rob.
Yeah, yes. Happy birthday, Rob.
And Chris, where can we find you?
Well, I'm glad you asked, instead of trying to do it yourself. So you can find my toy photography and related work at playwithphotography.com. I have galleries, guides, and assorted articles on those subjects. You can also find other photos and things of that nature on social media at Instagram.com/playwithphotography or at playwithphotos on Twitter. If you like the work I do in those places and want to show your support or help me to do more of it, you can contribute to my Patreon for as little as $2 per month at patreon.com/playwithphotos. And you can follow me personally on Twitter at ChrisRTXV. And if you want to, even, you can help me out by checking out my Amazon wish list. You can, send me a nice little thing from there. I've got Transformers the manga on there because I'd like to pick that up at some point. But it's one of those things where, I'd like to get that, but I'll probably drag my heels for months before I actually pay for it myself because I'm just like that about things. I have problems. I buy piles of Seacons but won't buy a $16 Transformers the manga. You can find the wish list at tfradio.net/chrislist, which has the added benefit of sending a little bit of revenue back to RFC to make shows like this and the Toy Detectives things keep happening. And we would definitely like the Toy Detective stuff to keep happening. So any support you can give to that will be greatly appreciated.
Don?
I can be reached on Twitter at HMRC4EVR. And
also on TFYLP?
when scheduling permits. Their scheduling is not really
when
working with my work schedule. Or there's
breaking RC news to be talked about before he can say anything about it here.
How about you, Matt? Oh, I'm sorry. Rob.
Okay, I am on Twitter at Figure Reviewers for toy stuff and Rob Flails for video games. Flailthers is my YouTube gaming channel. I cover Gundam Battle Operation 2. It's a free-to-play Gundam game for the PlayStation 4, and it has been a really good week for that. I managed to get the Zeta Gundam. You can see what it does on my channel. One video where I am not fully awake, and one where, fortunately, I am. Also,
I understand you posted a special video today. Also,
yes, I did. It is titled "The Joy of Mobile Suits," and it is exactly what you might think it is. I had a lot of fun doing that, actually. But it is up there. It is short, and it is entirely optional, which is, as far as I'm concerned, the best way to do April Fool's jokes if you are doing them. If you like the things I do over on YouTube or just in general, patreon.com/flailthers, you can drop me a couple of bucks a month and request specific mobile suit color and weapon combination. If you just want to send me stuff for some reason, which I'm awfully grateful that a lot of people over the years have, tfradio.net/claylist, and of course, just as with Chris, a little bit of the money you spend there will work its way back to Brian, where he will send it to us or whoever else or whatever else needs it to keep the podcast.
All right, you can follow John DeLuna at John D everywhere.
That John D.
At that John D. Isn't that
or you could just, ask him yourself since he's right there.
He's on mute.
You're doing great. Keep it up. You're doing great.
So Diecast, where do we find you? And I bet you get all yours.
I'm not here. Kate, let me get my contact info. I'm at bkilby and at briankilby.com and Brian Kilby on Instagram. Thanks, Diecast.
Yeah,
thanks, Brian.
Subscribe to the Happy Daily.
Yeah. And you can follow me on Diecast. On Twitter at Diecast too.
Okay, he didn't get all of his right. I take it back.
He is consistent. That's important.
Yeah.
You can also like me on Facebook at Reviews by Diecast, and you can see all my reviews at tfradio.net/reviews. So if you didn't check out the Netflix figures yet and the deluxe figures and you want to check it out, go to tfradio.net/reviews, and you can check out those figures that are now only not coming out for another 2 months that were supposed to be here today.
But it keeps your reviews really in demand and relevant.
Yeah, it's still relevant. And you can also, if you want to send me anything nice off my Amazon wish list, it's tfradio.net/diecast list.
Which also benefits the show.
It benefits the show, and you'll make my day.
Also, there's tfradio.net/Massey Attack, which, send Don fun things that he might even enjoy and also help, keep the shows running. I don't think we have any Death Heads 2 or coffins or packages of condensed diabetes on there for him right now, but there's still good stuff
torment items off.
There might be Cadbury eggs on there.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if we'd taken those. I didn't know if we had taken those off at some point because Don keeps saying how much he doesn't need to have them, even though everybody needs Cadbury eggs.
Yes, but they're
in extreme moderation, maybe.
but there is no moderation with Cadbury cream eggs. It's very
Don is correct on that, because I remember when I was younger and Cadbury eggs didn't cost so damn much. I literally would sit and eat 10 at a time.
Yep. And thank you guys for watching. That's the show. Make sure you tune into us next week.
When Brian will be back and everything will be better.
Everything will be better. We're sorry about this very bad April Fool's joke.
No, Diecast, you did well. Thank you for leading us tonight.
Yeah, you kept things moving really well.
Yes, I was very, very pleasantly surprised.
See you next week.
See you next week.
Bye, everybody.
Take care, everybody.
Sweet. I have something to listen to tomorrow.
Okay, so I managed to make the pre-show and that be separate recording, so that'll be a little easier for you to.
Oh, that's awesome! It's probably gonna be better than my recording too.
Well, I mean, keep in mind my connection, so there's no telling.
My connection sucks.
Okay.
So hey,
no, actually, I've had pretty good audio quality through the show, so it shouldn't be a problem. I'll go back and double check it, make sure it's usable before I send it over.
So when you said follow me on the Happy Daily or follow the Happy Daily, I almost mentioned that I got the guitar this week and I've been practicing.
Oh no!
Yeah. It's awesome.
Now, is that awesome for you or awesome for other people? Because there's a difference.
I wonder if that would be good post-show content. Probably not.
Oh no. No. As someone who's on the post show, I'm going to just declare that it would not be good post show content.
So it's kind of funny because it comes with a tuning thing, so it's actually in tune. And I'm like, I don't like I liked it better when it came out of the box, the way it sounded.
You want to twang, not to sing.
Well, I don't know. In tune is weird. I like it when a couple of the strings sounded the same, so it really didn't matter which one I hit.
I guess it would make it easier to play in one sense.
Yeah, it really did.
And for the purposes of the Happy Daily, I think it should be a little out of tune.
Yeah. Actually, I kind of really want to learn how to play it.
Well, that would spoil it, though.
Yeah.
Well, he can still play badly on purpose for the Happy Daily.
Could he, though? Okay, so I've never mastered an instrument, but I have to imagine that it's when you actually learn to play well and correctly, it's actually harder to purposely play badly.
Probably.
I read about Ian Anderson from Jethro Tull, his daughter took classical flute and finally taught him how to actually play the flute after 30 years. And to be honest, I've listened to some things he's done since, and it really didn't do him any favors.
Well, maybe he just has no musical sense.
So how long was the What We Got This Week segment?
I feel like that ran probably half an hour.
It would have been an hour if I was here.
It might not have been half an hour. I think it wrapped up shortly after the top of the hour. But we were talking about some other stuff before that too, so it probably wasn't all that long. Don didn't have anything. So that saved some time. I only briefly mentioned that I got the Pulse C-Cons. There wasn't a ton of depth on it this week.
I have 15 things, so I'm glad.
That's going to be bad next week.
And you'll have more by next week.
Hopefully not.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you will. You can't control yourself, Brian. It's a sickness.
It is a sickness. So I do.
There's no use fighting, Brian. Just give in.
I do have the second turtler here that will become a
Unicron.
A Unicron.
Yay!
Yeah. Oh, my head. Oh. I just might.
Pretty good looking figure for what it is.
Walmart? Did you get it at Walmart?
Yeah.
God, my Walmart's not had it whenever I've gone.
I've seen it on the shelf before and just did not care.
I want it. That became my obsession after I got all the Siege stuff. I'm like, I'll find Hammer Bite. That'll happen. It never happened.
This is the only one I wanted.
I want to get Wave 2 of the Deluxes, sort of. Sorta. Kinda.
Have you seen Hot Rod?
Yes, I know.
So I decided to, skip all the first wave because I don't care about having those versions of those characters. The second wave doesn't look all that good. I'm getting the third wave worth of figures, which is RC and Thunder Howl, because Thunder Howl's at least, a new character, and this is the, primary toy representation of it, and the RC looks slightly better than the Earthrise version option.
Is Thunder Howl related to Thunderhoof? Are they friends?
Probably not.
Oh, okay.
I think Thunder Howl's an Autobot, for one thing.
Nah, that doesn't matter anymore.
Well, he's probably Thunderhoof's little brother who joined the Autobots.
Maybe they're both from the Thunder Clan.
Oh,
like Six Shot and Six Knight and other 6 things.
Man, there's something else I got today I wanted to talk about. I'll do it next week.
Well, you could give the patrons an exclusive early preview.
Is it spoiling? Let me change over to my thing here.
Actually, like on a technical level, the show went really smoothly this week. There were not any noticeable hiccups with the video or anything. Nobody dropped off.
Can you see her?
Yeah.
Yeah, Nisa.
She, it's weird how she has skin tone because she's, I guess, a person or god, but it's just weird.
I always find that a little off-putting myself.
Yeah. It's kind of like, she's kind of like a RoboCop. And RoboCop, I love RoboCop. It's supposed to be off-putting. The trick to opening her chest, God, that's terrible. The trick to opening her chest is when you realize it's the piece, the right side here has extra overhang that you can pull onto. I didn't realize that as I was trying to do it, and it was just a pain in the butt. It feels better than the deluxe Cyberverse figures.
That's good.
Yeah, it feels better than those, but it doesn't feel as good as a regular deluxe generations toy.
How's the transformation on it?
I have yet to do it.
You have a week.
Yeah. It's just a weird thing. But it came in a crumpled box today, and I thought from China, and I thought it was a TurboGrafx 16 EverDrive thing that I had ordered. But it wasn't. It was this, which surprising because I ordered the TurboGrafx thing first. But it says I'm not going to have that till June.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. I could go for some caffeine. This sheltering in place thing sucks.
Yeah.
It really does.
I don't really think you'll find people that genuinely disagree.
Triplet loves it.
He loves it right now. Yeah. I mean, he will get sick of it.
I would be
in place normally.
Yes, that's.
Well, that's
I would be all for it. I would be all for it, but I still have to go to work.
Yeah.
Well, the thing of it is, when you can go anywhere you want to, choose not to, it doesn't matter because you're doing what you want. But when you know that you can't go anywhere, it kind of gets on your nerves.
Yeah. I mean, Kim and I are both working. I mean, of course, I've been working from home for over a year. Kim is doing this now. But the part that sucks about it is bringing the kids home and not sending them to daycare, even though we still could send them to daycare because we both are quote-unquote essential workers. But we're working from home, and we're just inviting, infection by sending them.
Yeah, it's not responsible.
Yeah, so... God, it sucks. I can't believe... I mean, teachers and daycare teachers deserve more money.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, yes, absolutely.
I mean, that's always been true.
This whole thing has changed my mind on so many things economically.
Yes, unfortunately, it's not going to change the minds of anybody who's in a position where having their minds changed would matter.
I would hope. I mean, you would hope that it would, but it is temporarily.
It won't. But it will change the minds of the people who get to decide who those people are.
Yeah.
Maybe eventually.
Yeah,
I'm not thinking we'll necessarily see the effects this year, but in 2 years and 4 years, we're going to see.
Yeah.
God, I hope so.
But these teachers, they are amazing. Like my niece is a teacher, and I tried to talk. I was very supportive of that decision until she was a teacher. And then she started talking about how much she hated it, so I was trying to support her in leaving the job. But she definitely... I mean, she makes a third of what I make. Like a literal third. It's... Yeah. It's not fair.
No, it's not. Not at all.
Nope. Of course, it's not remotely fair. Oh, God. Teachers deserve so much more.
Yeah.
So much more. Okay. I really need to make some of the SodaStream caffeine energy stuff because I have my last bottle or can of energy drink in the refrigerator upstairs, and I'm about to run out. So I'm not caffeinated right now, though I did just eat some ice cream. It was good. Mm-hmm.
I don't have ice cream very often because, like, well, freezer space is usually at a premium, and especially now it's at a premium. But it's also something I have to like really plan ahead for, and I'm not good about doing that for my own stuff for the most part.
It's not a bad figure. For
Yeah, that looks reasonable.
Yeah,
like for $12, sure. At the like 15 it's supposed to be, I probably would not give it a second thought. But you know, for 12, maybe.
Yeah, like I said, it was on a peg for like 7 or 8.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, I'm not going to be that guy to stand in line and be like, it was less, and it was all of them too. It wasn't like just one.
Was that your Don impression?
No, I just wasn't gonna. You know,
I put Transformers on the correct pegs every time I go through the Walmart toy aisle because they're always wrong.
And then, Rob, just so you know, I did notice that the Autobot Alpha Strike Counterforce, they do list it as a 3-pack.
Okay.
So they did count the Micromaster or the Battlemaster as one.
Okay, so at that price it probably is 2 Voyagers, so
No, but like legitimately, I conceptually like the idea of a 2-pack that's a Seeker versus an Autobot car.
I kind of do too.
Like I would totally be down with that as a thing because especially since it would guarantee, get both the Seekers and both of those smokescreen retools.
Or unless they want to do a separate 2-pack that is the Autobot cars at a lower price point.
Yeah, which is also a possibility. I just like if it was a jet and a car, that all but guarantees the second one would be coming along, you know, pretty soon after. Like, whereas getting Earth mode redecos of Smokescreen as Prowl and Blue Streak, like, that's probably going to happen. But right now, there's no real indication of like, is that going to happen this year, next year? You know, San Diego.
Yeah. It'd be kind of cool, though, if they did that, because they could also design the packaging like the old Versus packaging, where you got one Predator and one Turbo Master when they were released in Japan. Because they
I don't think they would do that, but that's a cool idea.
Yeah, because that's how they did. They were doing like the Versus.
In Beast Wars Second, Don, is that what you're talking about?
Well, not that. No, they had.
But there was
Japan,
that too.
Yeah. But no, in Japan, they got the Predators and the Turbo Masters in Versus 2-packs.
I didn't know that.
It was the green Predator jet and then the white Turbo Master. I can't remember the other pairings. It's just I remember white and green for some reason is the way it worked out. But you could buy them. I think that's the only way Japan got those figures from the UK was in the Versus sets, because they were. The jet was like this, and then the car was like this, so it was kind of not like side by side, but one was on top of the other.
It's like the Energon versus figure. What line was that? Universe?
That was Universe Battle in a Box.
Yeah.
See, they were because they were kind of like
cool
posing
packages.
the box.
Crappy toys, but cool packages.
Yeah, because
there was the Ultra Magnus from the Deluxe Optimus Prime mold. That wasn't a crappy toy. Sorry, Don.
That was great.
Yeah,
and then I kind of wish I picked up the Crystal Widow for that at least that one color version of that Black Arachnia, but I never did.
I picked them up. I just don't remember anything about the toy.
Yeah,
I'm gonna get going. I'll see you guys.
Bye,
Thanks.
No,
because I think that's how I completed one or two of my UK collection. The UK teams was getting the Japanese Versus packs because it was cheaper than getting the single carded versions.
So if I remember right, Japan got the small Predator jets, but not Skyquake.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And they got the Turbo Masters, but they didn't get Thunderclash.
Yeah.
You know, I will agree with Chris that homaging this specific thing is unlikely, but I also would not 100% put it past this team to homage something that obscure in Japanese.
Yeah.
I can see it.
It would really depend, like, what release channel they would get for something like this. Like, something that was a shared online exclusive probably would not take this form, and probably not something that would be, like, specifically an Amazon exclusive, but like they could probably work with some single retailer that could handle the volume and get something like that done.
Yeah.
Or again, like I wouldn't want to see, you know, Smokescreen and Skywarp, for example, or not Smokescreen, Blue Streak and Smokescreen, Blue Streak and Thunder. Okay, you get what I'm trying to say, even if I keep like mixing up names. Yeah. I would not want to see like primary versions of either of those characters be a San Diego or New York exclusive for Comic-Con. But like, yeah, I would see that being one place they could do a packaging style like that, for instance.
Hey, hey Matt, is that Tiger Track behind you? Behind your left shoulder?
Probably.
Okay.
Right there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know you had Tiger Track. Nice.
Yeah, I got that from Azusa at BotCon in 2015.
Sweet.
Yeah, it was 15 because I actually we went back to the hotel room. That was after Brian left, and they switched our rooms because our air conditioner broke.
Oh yeah.
And we didn't tell Diecast.
We moved all the stuff and didn't tell Diecast. Yeah. And then while we were hanging around waiting, you opened Tiger Trek, and I messed with it some because I'd never handled one of those sideswipe masterpieces before.
Yeah, when
Diecast is like time, especially when Diecast started texting you frantically, like, "Where are you? What happened to my stuff?"
Yeah. Where are you guys? We're in the hotel room. We didn't tell them we switched hotel rooms. We didn't tell them which hotel room we were in.
Now
we didn't lie to them either.
For context, like, me and Matt turned in our press badges, and Diecast went back into the dealer room supposedly for a minute to talk to Chosen Prime or whoever he was hanging around with mostly that weekend.
After we waited for a half an hour for him to come back,
that was the thing. He took off theoretically for a couple of minutes and then just didn't come back. So, you know, we got sick of waiting and went back to the hotel room. And when we got back, they told us they were switching our rooms and we needed to move our stuff over.
The air conditioner broke.
Yeah, the air conditioning had broken that morning, so we told them on our way out to go do BotCon things. And when we got back, they did not have a solution yet, and they were just going to switch us. But yeah, because Diecast took off and made us stand out there waiting for 30, 45 minutes before we just decided to give up on him. We moved all of his stuff too and didn't tell him. It was fun.
If I had it to do over again, I left her early because of work. Knowing what I know now, I absolutely would have just stayed because, you know, the work thing, it ended up being a lot of work and it was a waste of time and energy. And in the grand scheme of things, I would have much rather had the day with you guys than the horrible project that resulted from that. And
then you could have been there with us at Portillo's for Don's birthday ribs.
Yeah.
But yeah, that 2015, I think, was kind of when we coined the Blur nickname for Diecast because he just kept dashing off, leaving us behind.
Mm-hmm. That was when he got the Blur name.
Yeah. It fit.
Yeah. Let's see here. I remember the Agabus thing. That was
I mean that was interesting, if not a little bit sad.
Yeah, that was in our hotel.
Yes, because they couldn't have it in the official hotel.
Yeah, that was St. Charles, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But it was fun being able to just walk through there without my shoes on because you're 15 feet away from our first room. Also, being not in the official hotel was cool because, for most of the time, the pool was completely empty. So
and we were on the ground floor, which meant we didn't have to worry about elevators.
Yeah.
Early on, I was never in the official hotel. That became a later thing, and I recommend not doing it. Not the regular hotel.
I would also recommend not doing what we did and putting 4 people in one small room. Mm-hmm. But
that was a disaster, and I will never make that mistake again.
Yeah, I mean, live and learn, but we lived through it.
Refrigerate your pizza.
We did. That you're thinking of a different instance with non-refrigerated pizza. We had a fridge in that room, and we put the leftover.
That was at TFCon. That was at TFCon.
That was at TFCon, and also in Chicago. That was
I really liked St. Charles. I really liked it.
It was a nice little area right there.
Portillo's was right there.
Everything was right there.
Oh, I don't want to get Portillo's. I don't know when I'll travel again for work, but when I do, I will definitely get Portillo's.
Yeah. Yeah, Portillo's is great. Like, everything's good. There's so much variety.
I'm hungry now. I can make a hot dog.
Yeah.
Dario just closed, but I'm not going to go, even if it was open.
And then there was the trip over to Galloping Ghost. That was pretty cool.
That was great.
Oh, yeah, that was great.
That was pretty cool up until the point when Fun Pub buzzed a bunch of people over there because one of their other, adjacent activities had fallen through on them.
I don't remember that
Yeah,
part.
me either.
Yeah, we left like 15 minutes after that because the place got filled up.
I remember the guy who worked at Galloping Ghost was all cocky about the arm wrestling machine, and he would just lay on it. Like, it wouldn't. It's like, yeah, I could beat it if I laid on it, but yeah,
I couldn't beat it, but like on the hardest setting, I was able to actually, hold it in place. So I felt fine with that.
I remember setting their high score on their Cruisin' USA machine.
Awesome.
Yes, I was there watching you do it
Ooh,
too in a
cookout is
school
open.
bus. You did it in a school bus.
Yes, I did it in a school bus.
Now, to be completely fair here too, like I did not perform nearly as well on that machine as Matt, but like I played Cruisin' USA better than I ever had before in that machine.
Oh yeah, I never played that well.
Yeah, it had to be, having the pedal and the actual steering wheel versus doing it like on a controller.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it makes a difference.
Yeah.
Huh. Cookout is open, but I'm sheltered in place. But Cookout's open.
I like Galloping Ghost, but it helped me realize that all of my reflexes are gone.
No, Don.
It just the games I used to.
You're just rusty, Don.
Yeah.
You're just rusty. You need practice.
I mean, well, I'll admit I have finally been able to beat since we got the Marvel Superheroes arcade in the break room. I've been able to use Iron Man and beat Marvel Superheroes.
Good.
I just can't beat the X-Men game with Iceman. I just cannot seem to using Iceman. He's my favorite, but I cannot seem to get.
You said they were Firestar.
Yeah, the other day I was playing on my last break, and I don't know if those things have a difficulty setting or not, but the first person I was playing Iron Man, I challenged Spider-Man, and he just wailed on me for 2 complete rounds, and one of them was a perfect for the AI. I've never seen that AI act like that before. It just got me in the corner and just kept doing.
I think difficulty could be managed in the dip switches, but you don't get access to the dip switches with.
I've just never seen that Spider-Man AI be that aggressive and just get you in a corner and just basically Chun-Li you to death.
Daytona USA. I love Daytona USA.
The thing that put me off racing games for they always have. Back when I had my original Atari 2600, there was a game called Enduro Racer.
Yes,
and
there is.
I never could beat that game.
It's an Atari 2600 game, Don. It's not really a racing game.
Well, I'm just saying that game frustrated me to the point where I never really liked racing games after that. It's like Tecmo Bowl. I never could win Tecmo Bowl, so I just hate,
Maybe you should try like a nice Mario Kart or something, Don.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the Super Nintendo one.
Yeah. You have the Nintendo. You have the Super Nintendo Classic, don't you? Or did you get rid of it? Yeah, play Mario Kart. Yeah. Mario Kart's the way to go. Shit, I think Stunt Race FX is on that, Don. You would like Stunt Race FX. Yeah. It's the slowest, crappiest racing game ever. I think you would love it.
Is that the one that has like the ramps that say "Conveniently Placed Ramp Company" on it?
I don't remember. It probably does. It's the one that's the size of a postage stamp because it's 3D rendered and it's got to be about the size. It's got to be about the size of your fist on the screen. God, I want to play Daytona now. I
thought you wanted to get something to eat.
I do. I could play it on the Dreamcast, or I could just play it on the Xbox 360 or the Xbox One.
You better go to Cookout first while they're still open.
They're open till 2 if they're still open.
Drive-thru's probably still open.
Yeah, the drive-thru's open to 2 every day.
But do you want to wait until 2? Because you could have food and then play Daytona until 2.
And
what would you get from Cookout?
And at Cookout, you can get chili on your hamburger.
You can. It's actually really good.
Else.
That's cookout style. That's even their own house branded name. I call it Carolina.
He said he wanted a hot
time.
dog though.
I don't like their hot dogs. I love cookout. I just don't like their hot dogs.
Now, don't they use those old red dogs?
No, they don't use red dogs. Huh?
Oh yeah, I can't.
Oh, do they use the beef dogs?
I don't know that they're beef. Captain Rufus says I have the Saturn and Dreamcast Daytonas. I had the Saturn Daytona. You know, as I said, had.
I might have Daytona for the Saturn. All
Yeah.
that
I don't
stuff
even
is
have a
boxed
Saturn.
away. Oh, I do.
sold my
I don't
Saturn
have-
for bot.
It's
I don't have a
boxed
Saturn
up
anymore.
I don't remember if I've ever had a hot dog from Cookout. I'm
You
kind
get
of
pulled pork.
particular about my hot dogs, so I don't
Yeah.
usually get restaurant hot dogs unless I like know specifically what they're selling.
Well,
Yeah,
it's
beef dogs are gross.
yeah. Well, it's
No, they're
it's
not.
weird
Beef hot dogs are the only kind I'll eat.
because a couple weeks
That's
ago,
what you ate at Portillo's.
because a couple weeks ago I was really wanting something for lunch and I just didn't feel like going anywhere, but I didn't want to eat where I work. So I went out, and the closest place to eat to where I work that wasn't work was Sonic. And I thought, well, I've not been to Sonic in a couple of years. I'll see if they've gotten any better.
And then you
And-
remembered why?
Actually, I got the foot-long chili cheese coney with tots, and it was
their
really
hot dogs.
good.
Their hot dogs suck.
Yeah, hot dogs aren't
Like
good.
I could do it. I could do with a burger from Sonic, but their hot dogs absolutely suck.
Well, I mean, see, normally if I want a hot dog, I go to Sam's because they got the Nathan's hot dogs. But Sam's
Thank you for your
shut
business,
down.
Don.
But because I like that. It's just
Sam's are. Sam's. Nathan's are a good hot dog.
Yeah, no. Recently Kroger had Nathan's hot dogs for like $1.99 a pack, and I bought a bunch, and I've been working my way through those on, stay at home.
That's a good price.
Yeah, I've done my last package today, actually.
Yeah.
Sadness.
Yeah, it's like my girlfriend doesn't like the red dogs either. Yeah, and she does not like the red dogs, and I don't like if it's like. Let's say I'll go to the Walmart and they've got like the hot dog wagon or something for Children of the Network or whatever with the two dogs, the chips, the drink, whatever they do. Sometimes I'll do that just because it helps the kids out and it's cheap lunch or something. But other than that, I will not eat those red hot dogs. I just don't like them.
So my mother-in-law is the cook at the diner that was down the road from my old house, and they have the best hot dogs ever. They're red hot dogs, but they're deep fried. Oh my god, they're amazing. I hate red hot dogs, but deep fried, they are crack.
So my favorite way I've ever had a hot dog, this is not from a restaurant. My grandmother used to do this for me. She would put a hot dog on a fork and hold it over the gas burner on her stove and just like char the outside of it.
That'd be great.
Yeah,
I've never had that, but I'm sure
it was
it's wonderful.
my favorite thing. It was like a special thing too because she had the gas stove in her house, and anywhere I lived, we ended up just having electric. So it's not something I could ever have at home.
I might do that tomorrow.
I got out the butane torch, which my parents kind of frowned upon.
I mean, with my gas grill, I could just do that. I should do that.
Yeah,
that sounds great.
Well, we have like a camp stove here now and propane in case the power goes out for days, like it did a couple times in the last few years. So like I could theoretically break that stuff out and do something like that again. It's just a lot of production.
My power hasn't gone out for an extended period since literally the week that JD died. That's the last time that I lost power for more than just a few minutes.
I think around then was the last like significant power outage we had here like that.
There's a lot of snow that week. That's maybe the last time I saw any significant snow.
It was ice here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've gotten a George Foreman that I don't use that much. I need to dig it out and clean it up and start using it. Yeah. But my girlfriend said her mom and dad got an air fryer that you can cook so much stuff in an air fryer.
Dude, an air fryer is great. As long as you get a decent one. I would recommend the Ninja Foodie, which I love that thing, or Ninja the Power Fryer XL, which is the other one that we've got. So the Foodie's like a grill and a bunch of things. It's honestly, you could easily live with that just being your kitchen. That and a refrigerator and a sink, and you've got a kitchen. But the Power Fryer XL is the one. It's more like an oven. It's got a door and several racks in it. The best steak I've ever made personally, not the best steak I ever had, but the best steak I've ever made was in that thing. And it was amazing. God, I'm hungry right now. I need a bread maker. Captain Rufus mentioned that. I think I had one. I never used it. I regret that purchase now. Not using it.
My mom went through several bread makers. I mean, they were all like secondhand.
Oh yeah.
But like she wore through those making bread basically every day for quite a while until she decided to go back to low carb for her diabetes. But she was really into making bread.
Yeah,
Dusty. I think she actually like enjoyed the process more than even having the bread.
Dusty would make the bread for his pizzas that he would make, and his homemade pizza from scratch is the most amazing thing. That's actually why I'm friends with Dusty, because he brought one. He made that and brought it to work and asked me if I wanted to try it, and I'm like, "You are my friend now." Basically, it. Actually, Jason and I had to hang out with him. We let him hang out with us just to feel him out to see if he was, if he was cool, and he was. Yeah. A couple times people weren't cool, and we never saw them again.
It happened.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a very early lunch for dinner. Or supper if you're Don.
I use them interchangeably. It doesn't make any difference.
Hey, people watching live, I think post show is probably wrapped.
Yeah, I think we're winding down.
We're winding down. I'm going to go eat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for being here.
But if you're watching live right now, watch for a News Desk episode to come out sometime tonight, because that Super Megatron announcement is going to happen, and we didn't manage to hold out here long enough for that.
It will happen surely as soon as we end the stream.
Yes.
I'm thinking like within half an hour.
Awesome.
Maybe 45 minutes.
But bye, people. We love you.
Bye.
Take care, buddy.
Take care.
Stay safe.
Okay, bye. You.